They beheld him, and they ate and drank with their God. Do you see how this is, in effect, the first formal worship service in the Bible? One commentator says Exodus 24 is the story of a worship service. The first one, fully described in the Bible. It contains nearly all the basic elements of a public service, and thus it sets the pattern for biblical worship. There was a call to worship, the reading of God's word, a confession of faith, the sharing of a sacramental meal. We didn't come up with this basic template because some, holy men one day were just sitting around and said, well, we got to have a service or something. What should it look like? It has its roots in the service of the synagogue. It has its roots in this first covenant ceremony for all the people of Israel. This first worship service. Do you see there's a call to worship? Come up! Well, we start with the call. We start with the call to worship because God himself is calling us. What could make this more important than that? God himself. We're not just gathered and now we're here to have a good teaching time. God has called us to this. There's a call to worship. The people approach and can approach God only because a bloody sacrifice has been made. There is a reading from God's word. There is a response to God's word. There is a confession of faith in the God of this word. And they have a meal of fellowship. And this ceremony is all circling around this greatest of all the covenant promises. I will be your God. You will be my people, and I will dwell with you. So I've given you a book, and I've made a way by the blood, and I'll give you bread so we can eat and drink together. That's the promise of the covenant. I'll be your God. You'll be my people. We'll be together. And it's nothing less than that every Sunday when we gather to once again say, this great God of heaven has entered into covenant with us. Who are we that he should enter into covenant with us? And once again, we're going to renew this covenant together because he calls us to worship.